So, a couple of years ago, I made a video, and I figured this could be like maybe a part two. The video you're about to sit there and see definitely did not age well. Now, before we get to the video, just a couple little tidbits of information. So, during the height of the pandemic, you had a streamer named Invadervie. She was streaming, and her streams are pretty long. They're about 3, 4 hours, 5 hours, or whatever. During the stream, she got really frustrated and she felt like she wasn't getting enough support, enough money, and stuff like that. And she kind of said some stuff that really wound up biting her in the ass. And it divided people because most people were actually against her for the way she was meant to talking to her subscribers. There was a couple of people that was for it, right? In this weird, twisted, effed up way. Now, I stream and I understand on some level where she's coming from. Like, I would never sit there and be like, oh, well, you're not giving me money and stuff like that. F you, F you, F you, whatever. But I understand it in the way of like, this isn't always an easy thing to do, especially if you're having a bad day and you come on, you have to sit there and kind of push that stuff to the side for a little bit. You don't want to sit there and trauma dump on your audience and you want them to have a good time. But the way she went about it was pretty bad. And the thing about it is, after she wound up doing it, she lost about 1,000 subscribers. 1,000. Like, I can't even sit there and fathom having so much subscribers that you lost like that many. And granted, this was during a pandemic time where people were losing their jobs, losing their homes, money was super tight. People were going through mental health issues because of the isolation that you had to sit there and do it. And again, on top of that, you're losing money because you can't go to work because of everything that's going on. So the way she was sit there acting was extremely out of pocket. So we're gonna sit there and watch this video. Um, I'll leave the clips for both videos in the description box below. And yeah.
It was called the Girly Podcast. It's called Amaranth's Girly Podcast. You can go check out her VODs. It was really fun. I'm sad that I couldn't stick around longer, but I reached my stream limit for the day, and I was like, I can't keep streaming. I need to stop. I'm gonna have a panic attack if I keep going. So I didn't stay for the whole time, which I feel bad about, and I probably should have made an effort to stick around longer. But I'm really happy for the time that I did have with everyone. Broke 19-year-old college student still sub, no excuses. Oh, Vixie, that's right. Here's the deal. It doesn't really matter how much money you make or how much money you have. That's really the thing. Because I'm not asking you for a large financial contribution. If it cost $20 to sub, $20 is quite a bit of money. $20 is you can get a full meal for $20. And the difference of $20 and eating a meal is in that $20. That's where it is. But a sub is $5. At maximum, in whatever your currency is, it's maybe $10. And it doesn't matter how broke you are. If you have time to watch Twitch, you have $10, truly. If you don't have $10, you probably don't have time to watch Twitch because you should be working. You should be trying to earn money. It's not a ton. It's not a ton of money. So being I'm broke, I can't afford to sub, that doesn't really track. What you mean to say is, I'm so irresponsible with my money, I can't support the entertainment that I enjoy. That's what that is. If I want to go see a movie but I can't afford to pay for the ticket, I mean, you can just download it. You don't have to sub. You can just watch without supporting it. Absolutely. Absolutely. But if you can't afford to go see the movie in theaters, then you can't afford to go see the movie in theaters. It costs the same even if you're paying in a different currency. Oh. I'm unemployed, so basically all my money goes to bills and food, or I would support you. Hmm. Yeah. Uh huh. It's $5. It's really like you're not gonna, no one's gonna convince me that what I'm saying is so rude or so unacceptable or so outrageous. It just simply isn't. It's $5. It doesn't cost you that much to sub, and it's very, very wonderful because it allows streamers to continue supporting their communities with content. That's all. Hmm. I wasn't planning on subbing, but I heard you say that you weren't going to be eating beans for the rest of the month. So why not? Yeah. The beans. Guys, those beans are turning out really well, though. I was wondering, how much do you think society will change after all this ends? Society is constantly changing. Sometimes it is by leaps, sometimes it is by steps, it is incremental, sometimes it is large. We just can't know. And I have no idea, but it's fun to think about. That's so toxic, especially when people are losing their jobs. It really isn't. It really isn't toxic to ask for subs when you're streaming. And if you believe it is, then I imagine that you simply don't understand how this platform works. And I encourage you to get more perspective. Thank you, Tata Taru. Thank you. How many people do you have a paid sub for? How many people do I sub to? One. I sub to one person. They're my friend IRL. They are a very, very, very small streamer, and they deserve my sub every single month. And then other than that, I don't sub to anybody else myself. There are a ton of streamers that you could watch. It's not. Streamers ask for their viewers to sub every day. Yes. Do you watch other streams? No, not really. And what are the benefits of subscribing? There's a whole section that describes it to you just down below. There is a whole section to you just down below that describes all of the beautiful benefits of subbing. Mm-hmm. Oh my, so here we have some excellent 300 IQ comments from the Peanut Gallery. This conversation sucks. This is weird. Yikes. These are exquisite contributions to a very good conversation. And these people in chat who are making these comments do not appear as immature, childish cheapskates whatsoever. They're just sitting here masturbating as hard as they possibly can, as quietly as they can, because their parents are in the...
Okay, wow, that was a lot, right? That was kind of a lot to digest. But see, here's the thing, and this is the reason why I'm saying that people back then were split, right? Because I think ultimately what it comes down to is just how condescending that she came across, right? Well, let's not sit there and try to act like some of the stuff that she said was entirely wrong. But I think it's the way that she came across. And she was very callous. Like people were losing their jobs. Let me tell you something. When I was working and I had people come up to me and they were talking about how worried they were to be able to sit there and feed their families and that they just lost their jobs. And some people would come in and be like, listen, I'm trying to pay my employees. Like I felt that every single day, right? And it was very emotional and it was very emotionally draining. And I had to sit there and find things to kind of like balance out my day. So, it was a very strenuous time. So to sit there and see her act like that while other people are losing their jobs was completely and utterly out of pocket. Now, here comes damage, damage control, right? So this is where after she lost a ton of subscribers, she went up and they're doing the YouTube apology, or the Twitch apology, or whatever platform that you're on, the apology. And I always sit there and I look at these apologies, and people always sit there and be like, "Oh, that apology wasn't sincere, wasn't genuine, and stuff like that." And it's kind of an up or down sort of thing. you know. But you'll see in this clip that the way she does this apology is probably in the most I mean, you can look at it, and most people sit there and say it's very disingenuous, it's very scripted, it's just telling people what they want to hear. But it never, every time I watch this apology, it never comes off naturally.
Hi. You're here right now because you've seen a clip of me, and you're very angry about what I said in that clip. And you're justified in your anger. What I said was tone deaf, insensitive, and stupid. And I recognize that. I recognize that there is no context that I can give that would excuse what I said, so I won't. I can only own what I said, and I will. The clip that you saw does not represent my true feelings. I've streamed for hundreds of hours, and I've said, support communities after you support yourself first. Subscribe if you have the disposable income to do so. But in that clip, I expressed opinions that I do not hold at all. I said things that I don't mean, and they were vile. I recognize that. What I said was wrong in any context, but especially in the context of a global pandemic. It was very callous and inappropriate. I know that you've lost jobs. I know that you're afraid for your own security, and I know that what I said was incredibly hurtful and wrong. And I take responsibility for it. I won't try to make excuses, and I won't deny that what I said was awful. I want to talk to you. I want to hear your voices. I want to answer the questions that you have. And I want to be able to do it in the most responsible way possible.
Okay, here's the thing. I get when you say something that you have to sit there and own, you have to sit there and own up to it. And Lord knows that I've sat there and said some things that I've been like, oof, that was uh that was definitely bad. Okay. So I get you want to sit there and apologize. And while I'm not gonna sit there and make excuses for her, I will sit there and say this much, and this goes for any YouTuber, streamer, whatever. We'll sit there and say tons of things, hundreds of hours of sitting there saying stuff. At some point throughout any conversation, this goes for anybody who just talks for a living, you're going to eventually say something that's just out of pocket. You just will. Okay. No one is perfect. And so I get the need to sit there and be like, you know what? Let me apologize. Because you're not just sitting there apologizing for the things that you said and how it affected other people. For me personally, when I do that, I make an apology. It's also to myself because I feel like the only way you can sit there and grow from something is to sit there and just own it, say what it is, learn from it, and move forward. As long as you learn a lesson from it, as bad as it is, as long as you learn a lesson from it, you got to count for something. But the way that she went about it, it seemed as though like one of her good friends was like, let me write this stuff down and you can sit there and say it. Okay. As I said before, that was definitely one of those scripted things where it's like you're hitting all the points and everything you're sitting there doing is to appease, try to get back stuff, try to save your career, whatever it is. Personally, it did come across as very disingenuous, but at the end of the day, that's just my feelings about it. Because in all reality, she could have been 100% sincere. I don't know her, but you know that first rant that you saw, she wasn't drunk. I don't think she was under the influence. She said she meant every single thing that she said. Every single thing that she said. So to sit there and backtrack like, I know that I was callous. I know I was this. You know you're a callous, but yet you sat there and you mocked the people that was in there talking to you. So, I mean, listen, there's one thing owning what you did. It's another thing to sit there and say, well, I'm going to sit there and be a dick, but I'm going to acknowledge that I'm being a dick. That doesn't make it better. Anyway, that was a couple of years ago, but I want to sit there and kind of just do a little rewind um, on that. You know, I find videos and stuff like that to be very fascinating, especially seeing that, you know, even though I've been doing streaming for like maybe what 2 or 3 years, there is still so much to know, so much to learn and stuff like that. And watching people like her is a great example of like when you do get to the top. Don't get me wrong, she is at that effing top. Like to have about 800, 900 something people watching her stream, watching a video of listening to her talk, that's quite an accomplishment. You can sit there and say what you want about her as a person, but to get to that level, I have to sit there and imagine that it takes more than just looks because I do find her pretty. I don't think that she's hot, but whatever she's doing, it must be entertaining enough to have 800 something people watch. Anyway, let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below about that video, that clip, and everything. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video.